Hey everyone, I'm Tassinix, and welcome to Plotting and Scheming. We're covering Season 47 5 vs 5 Grand Arena Championship, Week 3. I am joined once more by my co-hosts Dagger, TJ, and Sasha Isha. I know you guys are doing well. We're short on time today. I'd usually have us, just jaw jack for the first few minutes about how everything went. We can actually cover that as we're going through the sections. I'm sure we can organically fit that in. But let's get right into the action, all right? So what worked this week? Let's start with Dagger.
So the only real thing of note that I had to pull the rabbit out of the hat was my third round where my opponent set 5 GLs, and I had a sneaking suspicion he was going to set 5 GLs. So I needed to, I had to make the decision whether to try Starkiller versus Ray, voluntarily with the expectation of voluntarily two-shotting it if I win the first time, woohoo, or hold it for the back in case there's an SLK. Well, I one-shot the Ray, and then admittedly was sloppy the rest of the time, and my opponent made it a lot closer than it needed to be. But yeah, it was. That's about the only thing that I did that was, we'll call it sketchy. Everything else is, me, it's line them up, knock them down, overkill.
All right, good stuff. Well, I'm glad to hear that. TJ, what worked for you this week?
So I'm going to call it out, and it's a shout out to Brock and some of the guys from Erodium. They definitely got me on the way. But Inquisitors with Malicos on the Leia. Just beautifully works.
On the so-called toxic comp.
It's on all comps.
Oh, really?
And
Good. I want to talk about
And we did
this.
Inquisitor versus Inquisitor with SLK on double tank. So it's like the Inquisitors are the money shot. It just needed the one piece, and not until Brock and the other guys there decided to tell me, didn't think about it. It's like, just put Malicos in there. I'm like, oh man, and it plays so beautifully. Obviously, we're going to be coming out of threes back into fives at that time, but it's like Leia was already going away because of Jabba. But seeing this, like, you don't even need Jabba. You can just go take your Inquisitors and have a nice day. It was beautiful. That's the big one for me.
All right, well, that's a good one. Any others you wanted to highlight?
No, everything else was pretty much the same. It was
well
basically
this week,
efficiency wars.
New.
Yeah, it was efficiency wars this week where I got outdone by Jedi. Great dude. He got to pull things. I failed on pieces I needed to, and then other ones were just anything you think would work. Oh, I'll tell you the one that was dumb, but we'll go back to that. But basically, Ewoks just got poopied on by good old fashioned dash. That was the funny one, right? Where I was trying to be tricky, and we'll do the not worked, but old fashioned dash full banners, right?
Nice.
You put the BAM, and
nice.
it's like it basically nullifies because BAM coming in with those big birds. Well, you're not coming back from that, and it was beautiful. So that was the good one too.
Dig that. All right, Sasha Isha, what worked out for you this week?
Yeah, a couple of things stand out. So overall, it was a good week. Went 2-1 in that top 8 bracket. So tight matches, but a good week. I'd say the top couple of things were the new set 12 datacrons, just a couple of them that I had lined up that were critical to my success. First was I brought Jabba and the new boost datacron on offense and was able to auto really strong Leia squads. So I did not test out that Inquisitor's Malicos. It was on my radar, but decided to just take the simple I win button out with Jabba and press that. Then similarly on a set 12, I actually used JMK with a set 12, the no revive for Scoundrels, against opponents' strong Jabbas with the Boosh set 12. The ability to take out Chrysanthemum without a revive quickly, allow for early focus on Boosh, even against those resilient and explosive Jabba squads, that worked nicely. Then the second sort of major thing that was a recurring theme was Ray on defense. There's just so much survivability that I went with a variety of different things, and I kind of had I could see in folks' histories. It's one of the benefits we have in the third week of whatever format. How people approach opponents' Rays. And a lot of times I had folks that were saving a lot for defense and intending to use a gas on Ray. and there are, a number of setups where that was going to require a multi-shot. And I know it means they get to avoid potentially having to use a GL against my GL defense. But if they're going to take an automatic 20 banner loss, I generally am willing to accept that and just assume, hey, I can play more efficiently around it. And that worked well 2/3 of the time. So, those were the biggies.
I got one for you. I forgot. I don't want to cut it off.
No, get it in. Get it in.
Props to Dagger, dude. This was so much fun. He found it in a history after Anjaba, but it was adding B2 and GG, not doing the other stuff. Dude, that was so much fun. Dude, I actually got to try it with Heinze, and we did it on his stream. They had grit. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like there was anything fancy, but it didn't matter. The amount of control that pops off as you're just pummeling that team was so much fun. And the added, if something's going to go wrong, the top mechanic moving around was beautiful. It was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with this. So I had to give props to Dagger finding it and us getting to try it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And it was full banners for him. So just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked super interesting when I found it, because I started noodling around the why. It's like, obviously after bonus turns. But then it's like, but he moves the mark, like she said, he moves the mark around to the healthiest, which means they can't just focus the weak one, which is sometimes how you lose that fight. They just hard target one person, and he forces them to spread out their damage.
Yeah. Anyone else you guys wanted to throw in the pot before I go here?
Oh, is this the things that are surprising that they worked, or just things that worked?
Well, I mean, we've covered other teams that have probably been working well for us throughout this season. So certainly, whatever kind of stuck out this week doesn't have to be new, but is probably new.
My apologies. It was meant to be sort of facetious. I one-shot every Leviathan this week.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, there's definitely good things to cover.
That's new for me. That's new.
Yeah, nice.
That's a little like a religious experience.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah. May the odds be ever in your favor, or something like that. So,
I'll add one more thing, Cass, that worked, and this is not brand new, but it's new in that it's no longer as stale as it had been. I put a bunch of speed on my Mara Jade. Just because I noticed a lot of folks with the current set and the UFU defense were moving EP Star Killer to defense, and some of them were like pretty invested squads, include Cal Kestis and other stuff. But if you just have the faster MJ, the mirror is an easy 65.
Yeah,
and so it was just kind of an interesting little bit of mod switch that gave me like an automatic full banner counter in a couple of my matches.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, for my part,
on that similar note, I just want to
go ahead
really quick. On that note, I just want to say, because we spend so much time Star Killering Ray, it was so refreshing this week to every time I use Star Killer, the first 2 times I used Star Killer against non-Ray squads, they never got a turn, and I'm just like, oh, man. Do you know how just refreshing it is to win in 30 seconds and they never take a turn? Oh, sorry. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so for myself, against a Slacker full UFU team, complete unicorn. Haven't seen this before. No data available on it, so Aesop did great work putting this together. Slacker, Cal, Malicos, Crew, and Ninth Sister still fell to JMK Cat, GK, Ayla, Ahsoka, so I wouldn't say that's, I mean, it seems like an intuitively good counter for a Slacker, maybe even overpowering, but, it worked, okay? And we might, nothing's guaranteed when it's something you haven't seen before. What else worked for me that was new? Ooh, I had a Bad Batch fight go bad on me, in which a Bad Batch versus Tarful, and I only killed one of the guys. I want to say it was Zalbar, so it was still Clone Wars, Vet Chewie, and Nest alive. GG, B1, B2, T3, and Magna got the job done. Hadn't had to clean that up. I was really strapped for team, so just over the moon that worked. What else? Oh, Unique team, again, another unicorn. Bam, Queel, Hondo, IG-11, and Grogu, the new guy. Still, Qui-Gon took it out for 58. A cudgel, to be sure, but it worked out. And, yeah. No, that's nothing new. I did a Ray mirror. I just hadn't done one in a while. Ugh. Let's see. Is there anything else? Because this third match, by the way, guys, at the time of this recording... folks at home watching this, the third round of week 3 is still wrapping up. As of this moment, there's still 10 minutes left. So on screen, I'm still out of the corner of my eye watching my opponent attack. I've got the round, so it's good. I'm going to end up going 2-1 on the week. It's better than I thought it would be because this is the top bracket. So I'm going to have a very interesting week 1 in 3s. But enough on that. I think... that just about covers it from me. All right, let's dig right into section 2. What failed us? What left us for dead? Dagger, go. Speak on your horrific failure, your shameful failures.
I had to rush. I don't remember. I think it was my first round. Yeah, because it was the one that was on Thanksgiving. So round 1, my attack phase was a little rushed. So I ended up, I had to kill a Malgus, and I had a Star Killer up top. And I had already decided to slacker the Malgus and see the Star Killer up top. And then my dumbass just took C and killed Malgus. And then, I don't know how many of you guys have tried slacker versus Star Killer on offense. It's not I lost. And then my dumbass started taking in squads trying to kill the team instead of just taking in a team that would kill one character.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I can just kill one character, the rest of the teams, then I go back in and the team's character.
The magic
right?
is broken.
So, Yep. So just, well, how does TJ put it? I made my own poopies.
That's right.
That was my Thanksgiving one. I ended up winning that one. But yeah, it was just, man, pay attention. That's what I guess what I'm taking away from this. I made a plan. What is it? It's like make the plan. It's like make the plan. Don't stick to the plan. Throw the plan out the window. Right? That's don't do that. Don't. That was not good. All right, that's all I got.
No other dum-dums to cop to?
I mean, I'm sure. Like, here's that wasn't the only fight I lost. That was the only one that was like, oh wow, I am just the dumbest piece of shit.
Yeah. All right, yeah.
But like,
I mean, this can be dum-dums. This could be things you thought would work and didn't. But yes, absolutely. All right, TJ, what failed you?
Voluntary. Yeah.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Dagger, man.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Maybe you were breaking up or something. I don't know if you were trying to talk. My bad.
No, I just said, like, I took some voluntary 2 shots and, lost. What did I lose versus? I lost something stupid versus Tarful just because, like, I just wanted to see if it would work after I'd already won a fight.
Shameful.
But yeah, nothing. Sorry, I was just wrapping up by saying nothing extremely stupid outside of that one thing.
Yep. Fair enough. All right, TJ.
We'll go round 1. I didn't take enough of a JMK team against Ray. So what would normally work, it just was able to hold on for too long. And by that point, the World One got in, and it got dissected. I still was able to. I basically had to 5-shot it, right? But this was a clear win for my round 1. The dude liver cleared my top wall. LV and Savage with trio held strong. And the reason I segues to this, I was able to CLS his gas, right? It was the same setup or whatever it would be like that. So it was good old, and I got full banners. So I thought I could do that in the third round, today's round, and it did not take place that way. That got piled out to the point where I couldn't recover. So I had to Star Killer it. With Jedi, 2 things failed me, and this is why I brought it up. Is he had the setup with what's his name? Malicos on the LV. This was the first time where I'll probably call it user error more than anything else. But I failed with JML. With what has been working all season, did not work this one time. And again, I think I left it too long, and the Datacron was a really good one. to where I had to go with the 2-shot. I killed it, no problem. The people were all dead. The other one that got me, and I wanted to try it, and why I said that Dash works on Ewoks, the Tusken with the Tuskenkron. I took it against the Ewoks, and the Datacron is just too strong, in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember doing that early.
He's got a really good one. We never tried him. Like, well, Tuskens might be able to hold out. Nobody was getting stunned. Nobody was being held over for it to work like you would want it to work, so that to separate. And because of that, they were just killing my team off bit by bit. So I took in Dash to just overkill it, which again was perfect banners. And then the other one that caught me was, where is it? In the back. Nope, I think that's it. Yeah, no, that was the only one that really, like, those are the only two that really stood out for me.
Dig it. All right, Sasha Isha. You can't have had that bad a week. You went 2-1. Let's hear it.
Yeah, well, I certainly made a good amount of mistakes as well. Actually, one, it's just kind of an opposing defense that stood out because I ran into it a couple of times, and I made a bit of a mental note of it after the first one when I struggled, but still didn't give it its due respect the second time. And that was a solid Malicos squad that the opponent set that had Savage. And what I ran into in each of those cases, I was trying to use, like, I went fairly cheap on a JML Jedi squad elsewhere, and it left me with JKL, Jedi Knight Cal, and Assorted Jedi, including Jolie. And the issue that I ran into is I using Jedi Knight Cal, ended up with Retribution on my Jedi, and I ended up in a turn meter loop. It happened each time where
Sasha, I specifically brought this up and I set that on you when we faced. I'm not cutting you off. It's like
I didn't even pay attention last week, but I must have done something different with you.
You didn't use the JKC, and what I talked about was the fact that when I tried it with Heinze, you get that loop, right? And if it gets stuck on JKC and Savage, even in the Darth Revan thing, you get stuck in this loop and you can time out. So it's just I'm not Levy is like, dude, we had that because I had that happen to me.
It's
it's funny. Yeah.
Totally, dude. So that's exactly the trap that I ended up in. Mm-hmm. A couple of times. Fortunately, I was able to at least get Malgus out. But that's brutal. That's rough. The next couple of things to stand out. I made some, certainly some executional and attack errors, but there were actually kind of plans or sort of theory that I wanted to get a chance to try that didn't materialize. I didn't get the right opportunities. Like one was I held my, I've got the R8 ISC and GAR. I held Maul for offense a couple of times. It still didn't just find really ideal targets. And it felt like a real lost opportunity and a misallocation of resources to be holding those things and not get to use them, across an entire board. So that felt like a failure, like not finding an appropriate home for the Mandos to attack. Then the other one that I really wanted to use, and it's going to be a while, I think, before it comes back to relevance, but I was excited and didn't get a chance because of team compositions, but that was trying to figure out some use for Grogu, right? Like for the IG-12. Mm-hmm. And where I wanted to be able to use them, and I didn't get to, but was actually on a Gidme squad. Because Gidme, a lot of times the main risk is timing out, right? Like, because you end up on crew or whatever. And Grogu, I thought that was the perfect opportunity. If somebody on basic has an irresistible heal immunity, I was going to add him as the 5th. And I was all excited to do that. I never got to do it. So we'll see again next 5v5 and left a natural home for light side Mandos at that point. But that was one that was just unrealized potential that, again, had me holding back stuff. I never got a chance. The reason I didn't get that chance is because I had to draft Padme over to my JMK squad to take on those set 12 Boosh DC's Jabba teams. I just needed as much survivability as I could get, and I didn't feel comfortable without Padme. So no Gidme this week. But anyway, that was kind of my failure, trying to plan around two things, Mandos and Grogu with Gidme, and none of it materialized.
Got you. Yeah, fair enough. For my own part, I encountered Yeah, I timed out on Ray. I think that, like TJ said with JMK, just took too damn long, and that's kind of just on me. Lord Vader Maul Malicos was something I saw in, I want to say, every round this week. And the first time I tried it with Slacker in the first round, Slacker, Arm, Hux, Foss, GBA, it appeared to have a decent win rate from, history of the season. And, man, I got absolutely zero. Now, that was an extremely high stack def cron, decent amount of defense to begin with. So it was really difficult to get through. Let's see. I went against a... let's see. I went against another one of those Lord Vader Mauls. And this is Lord Vader Maul Thrawn Gar ISC. So this is what Aesop set, right? He has very novel modding, about 140, 150% tenacity, and then offense. Lots and lots of offense on both of them. More on ISC and then more protection on Gar because he does get taunt. But basically, if you trigger Riposte from Maul while he has it, or you trigger anything that causes a counterattack from either Gar or ISC, I'm here to tell you, that shit hurts. That was terrible. I do not recommend that experience. I saw that Fennec Boss Grief Mando Zam was able to win in one instance last week. Of one attempted. I tried that out. I got out Thrawn, but Maul punched through Bosk, and then we just didn't sufficiently have control of the fight. Ended up cleaning through and getting through it eventually, but at great cost. A Star Killer team. I went with Trey Annihilus, Scion, Talon, and Savage, and that's, like 100% 65 banners. And I timed out with I needed another 4 seconds, something like that, enough to execute 2 attacks, something like that, to knock off Mara Jade. But the only reason it came down to such a tight time matter is I isolated Star Killer and not EP. And that was disastrous because he got his TM train and, they were just able to continuously loot me. Don't recommend the experience. I hated it. So just isolate EP and you shouldn't have that problem. What else let me down? Because this was a real sweaty damn week against C. So with Malicos on the team, you're definitely looking at some type of cleanup if you go in with Afra. But I also saw that if it's only Savage and not Savage and Malik or something like that, that's not guaranteed for Afra either. And my Afra is fit to kill. We got through most everybody. How much, what was that situation? I only got 2 people on that first attempt with Afra, so that's gruesome. That's probably Nihilus and Talon that I killed, if I had to guess. So, no Malik required to jam up Afra. Now, I will note, as of this week, I did not have the Afra Kron from set 12, so I will have that in the future. I also had a Chimera versus Leviathan fight fail on me. Aesop set Mark 6 up front on me, and you just don't want him to get up to 40 stacks or whatever it is so he can insta-kill with his basic. So foolishly, when I was able to get around B-28's taunt, I squandered my turns attacking that ship in order to keep its stacks low, whereas I should have gone after Malgus. And I had the opportunity to avenge myself today in this fight versus Marco Ragnos. He set the same comp, and indeed, I went right after Malgus. 72 banners, possibly one of my very highest, Chimera clears against Leviathan ever. So that was really the secret to that one. What else did I have from today that was kind of goofy? I had Seer, Cal, Fulcrum, Crew, and Kylo. There was some win rate to support Aura, Boss, Grief, Mando, Zam. I killed 3 of the characters. I killed Seer first just to make sure if the worst should happen, then the spell is broken and I could devour the remains of the team. Was still able to snipe out both Fulcrum and Kylo. Crew. Sorry, Crew. So leaving Cal and OG Kylo remaining. for the first time doing it, I would say the biggest issue was I just didn't have a really good cron left. That was with a pretty hoopty cron. I want to say something like 25% prot, 25% health, 40% defense. Like really not that great. If I had something like 30% prot, 200% defense, something like that, I have a cron like that, that would have been fine for that situation. But yeah, those are the breaks.
There. He had a better option available, decided to not do it.
Your bum. Ray Swallow, RJT, Zeris, L3. I went in with Slacker because I had to. It went terribly. I preloaded it, went in with Starkiller. It went terribly. So I'll note that. Still ultimately managed to hack and slash my way through the pieces at great cost, but it got done. And that's just here today. Leia, Drogon, R2, Baze, and Old Ben. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, TJ, because this is my first time doing Inquisitor's Malicos counter. And looking back on it, I think I know what I might have done. But basically, GI never got that instant first turn to torture. So I don't know what's up with that. But basically... I think somebody stunned GI. I think
you're talking. Okay, but it doesn't matter.
Well, anyway, what ended up happening was Old Ben ended up getting out ahead of GI's turn, and before I could torture, and put out ability block so he could do nothing. A whole bunch of my team could do nothing. We got quickly overrun, and I got blown out. I had to clean that up with JML. But I'm just saying, in my sample size of one attempt running that shit ain't work with... That was Baze and Old Ben. So that wasn't even, super duper comp. Perhaps even super duper comp is better handled by Inquisitor's Malicos.
It's easier.
But
it's easier. But I'll tell you why
that was not great.
I'll tell you why. I bet you money your GI is not as fast as Drogon, and you guys are both on bonus turn. So whoever's faster in that regard is going to go first.
Yeah.
Every fight I fought, and probably Dagger will probably say the same thing because I know he did it. Drogon goes first. They might target. It depends on the AI priority. And each time I had it happen, they targeted my Malicos.
Yeah.
I know Dagger will say that he had his GI targeted.
Yeah.
And in Heinz's fight, they actually targeted 7th. So it's going to be who it is.
Yeah.
But as long as you can keep the push, you're going to be just fine.
Okay.
But yes, the actual toxic, in quotations mark, is actually easier because those characters are more flimsy. When you're coming with the double tank of an Old Ben and a Baze, especially in better fighters, they're going to be able to maintain a lot further, so you have to really finesse the fight.
And the combination of the risk of getting ability block plus having just Baze continuously getting to go around and sweep all your buffs, it's a bad time, man.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but with Malicos there, Reva doesn't pre-taunt. So the toxic comp actually gets Reva to reactively taunt. No. But like what I'm saying is that the non-toxic comp, like Leia gets her turn without a taunt.
Yes.
Where against the toxic version, right? Like her taunt is up when Leia takes her turn.
Doesn't matter. You can
I assure you, it mattered today.
No,
I'm just
no. What I'm saying is their team bypasses taunt.
Leia has to take her first turn before they can ignore taunt. They don't have call to action until Leia uses her first ability.
I don't remember, but it's fine. But I see what you're saying, and it's a fair call. But yeah, even then, with the 4, you can still win the fight, and Dagger was proof of that. He had that situation happen, but it's I can see the ability block being a pain in the butt. But if you're controlling the fight, okay.
No, we were never in control of the fight because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you're controlling the fight, okay. Where it's they get to do their first and then you're out.
I figured it out. Did they shoot first on? Did Drogon stun your GI?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yes.
Yeah, then of course then you were wondering why your GI didn't get a turn.
I'm just wondering why we never get I was wondering. It's like, oh, that's okay. We'll get around to him eventually going. It's like, well, that is like a blatant falsehood. That is not what happened.
Right. So they took him out to play with the first move.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not dawdle on this one too long. Let's move on to the next section. We've all gotten our shots in on where we laid an egg with our attacks. So, standout defenses. Who saved your bacon this week? We'll go right back on to Dagger.
Jabba?
Yeah? Is that with the Super Duper Crown?
Yeah, people are really, really bad at this video game against new stuff that they don't know how to beat. It turns out it's way easier to beat stuff when you have, like, history and videos on how to do it. Also, to kind of piggyback off what you said about that Mark 6 start,
yeah,
that is such a cute start. I had somebody set it against me, and I'm just like, oh, bless your heart. Let me just, like, 74 this real quick.
Yeah. I believe it.
Man, I didn't have a whole lot of defenses hold. Like, obviously, Leia got a couple of holds just naturally. Well, actually, no, I think she got one hold this week. Jabba got 2 holds this week. The team that continues to be surprising in its data. I fought Zio this week.
Yeah,
and it was one of the coolest things because after my fight, I went back and watched his stream, and he fought my steer team, and he failed miserably. I forget what he used, and he checked my cron. And then I don't speak Russian, so I won't pretend to understand what he said. So I'll just tell you what I saw. He exits out of GAC, goes to his own inventory, checks his inventory, goes all the way down to Datacrons, looks at some of his crons, goes to Arena, filters his Datacrons, goes back into GAC, edits his defense, and changes his cron.
Lesson
because
was
I had
learned.
I had like over 50% prod on that team, so you weren't Gidmaying it, you weren't Treying it, right? Like, oh, it felt so good to see someone just like, you know, it's that moment when somebody's like, you got me. Why did you get me? All right, that's how you got me. No one's doing that to me ever again, and I'm going to do that to other people now. And that felt really good from like ego stand. Maybe not ego, but you know what I mean. It felt really good from a validation standpoint.
No, I believe that. I believe it. Anything else you wanted to highlight?
But the Seer team was kind of like the highlight of my week, just with the whole Zio situation. That was a lot of fun. He kicked the shit out of me. Don't worry. Absolutely blew my doors off.
All right.
But
all right. Well, TJ, who was a strong performer for you on defense?
LV. LV maintained. Basically, LV. I'm looking at my review, which is nice to have right now, and LV still standing round 1. LV was a 3-shot round 3. Guy explained what happened, which is human error, which I don't care. I'll take a loss or whatever it's going to be.
By any means,
yeah. So that Savage with the trio, but it was special circumstances. We talked about it right internally with the plotting and scheming. Is that the cron that was on it was 200% defense and 50% protection. That put Savage over the health threshold. So if you're going to try to give me that, you were not getting Savage that way. He was going to stand tall, and with his lead, adding more defense to you're not cutting through my Savage that way. So that was a great triumph for me. Ray Cat, never done it. I've always kept it. And I decided round 1 I was going to swap it up. That took a 3-shot, so I'll take that. And then round 3, the one that did me great, thank God it did, Gas.
Nice.
Gas took a 3-shot. He tried, and a guy told me, he tried to do the 2-man. So what you did, Sasha, he tried that on mine, but held up for 3. So he tried it, it failed. He tried something else, that failed, and he had to 3-shot it. So that's what got me my 2-1 this week, where basically the LV and the Gas was just money.
Outstanding. All right, Sasha, who are your big performers?
I mentioned Ray before.
Yes.
I think she got a hold in 2/3 of my matches. Then another one that held a couple of times was Treya, Savage, Nihilus, Scion, and Visas with the Visas Cron. I set that, and I chatted with all my opponents. One just made the mistake of taking Gidmay, which had no chance with that. So they had full back out. I had another that failed. I can't remember if it was a Treya mirror or something like that. But so that held well. My Seer squad did well. Kabuki let me know that he tried a Treya squad against my Seer Malicos, and he had to do a full back out. So that was nice. The thing is that Seer squad is tricky even without Malicos.
Yeah.
And as you guys have mentioned, there's a lot of cool stuff that can be done, whether it's under LV, whether it's using the SOK UFU, bringing Malicos to offense with Inquisitors. The going plain vanilla, sort of back as God intended under Seer, was still pretty fearsome and effective. And so that was definitely on my list. I think I squeezed the last ounces out of High Tenacity Phoenix. Every one of my opponents had seen it in my history and are like, nah, okay. And one shot that. So that does not make the list. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, for my part, Ray was a big performer, and it wasn't, I really don't mess with that Ray Cat thing. I'm saving JMK Cat because number of circumstances where I really needed that delete to make the rest of the board work. So I've never messed with that this season. And Ray Swallow RJT Sortie L3 held both rounds in which I set Ray. Malgus DR BSF, Sith Marauder, and Malik got the odd hold. He killed Malgus and DR on the first rip, so I want to say that's gas gone bad. That's pretty rare if that's the case. Tarful held for me twice this week. Now, this is without Hondo. I ran with Hondo, I want to say weeks 1 and 2 with Tarful. This is Tarful, Zalbar, Chupio, because you're not really using them elsewhere. Clone Wars, Chewbacca, and Nest. That got holds twice this week, like against 2 different opponents. Against Aesop Rock, of all people, my gas held firm. He had to 3-shot my gas up front. So he had to deal with it, and he didn't know what lie in the back. So he tried what he thought he could, and it did not work out that way.
Do you know what Aesop tried?
I'd have to check the notes here. Give me a second.
Oh, while you're doing that, I would just like to add on to the Ray Cat thing. Ray Cat is going to be less viable going forward, but the reason it was such a good option for so long, for the last few months, was JMK Cam, Mace, Snips, Ayla, with the 4-side stacking, was infinite damage. So you didn't really need the Cat against like the Rays and things like that. Now that Kron is rotated, like Ray Cat is going to be much less effective, in my opinion, because JMK is going to be much less effective because you don't have the Ayla plus the stacking offense with the 4-side. So there's no really getting punished for not doing it, but I did it a few times because of that Kron, and it just enabled JMK to kill Ray without needing Cat.
Yeah. Fair. I did check the notes here, and I found... So, he did fail with CLS on gas, and then he tried Wampa to clean up. So he killed, as I recall, Fives and Echo. So he still had Arc and Rex to fight with gas on the second attempt. So that's where Wampa failed him, and then he cleaned it up from there. Yeah, so that was a good one. What else did I have here? Leviathan got me an odd hold, so we always welcome that. Leia did get me 1 hold here. That was actually this last round, and I expect that was JML that went wrong. That's my guess right now, prevailing theory. Lord Vader Maul, Ninth Sister, Thrawn, and Royal got me a hold here as well this round. I think people still look at that and it's like, yeah, I can hero this. And it's like, you can't really hero this if you've got it modded tightly. So it's, Lord Vader crush into Maul spin into Thrawn fracture into... Thrawn popping off. Ninth Sister goes right after Thrawn finishes, does her middle. She'll come back around to her AoE, and that's super bad news for Phoenix. So that required some more chopping for him to get through, but he did get through it. That wraps that up for me. As far as lessons learned from this week, I definitely, had a couple about fighting that slacker UFU team. Man, JMK is what's required, at least from me. I'm open to you guys having some input on that, but at least for the position I was in, nothing less than JMK was feasible for me getting through that. So looking for those novel comps this week was a pretty sweaty affair. Anything you guys wanted to shed on what you're taking away from this week?
Yeah, I've got a few. I'll start with the irrelevant things I'm taking away. In the future, if people are using JML and Phoenix to beat your Lord Vader, just remember Darth Vader exists. I forgot that for the first week, and I got Phoenix and JML in 2 of those rounds. I put Darth Vader back on that team, and they didn't touch it with Darth. They didn't. No Phoenix or JML beat it again after that.
Nice.
Right. So just remember that Darth Vader still exists. And then the other one is what Tash kind of pointed out. When you have stacking defense, and this is less, I shouldn't say this is irrelevant now, but I only say less relevant because we're losing like the Jedi Crons. So we're going to be changing the way we play going forward because we're going to lose a lot of the damage we have baked into our data Crons. The stacking defense Crons, there are cheap ways to deal with them, but you really have to dig for those cheap ways and set your teams up right. And again, did not really think that through during the first week because I didn't really think through how am I going to beat the stacking defense, because the stacking defense, they sometimes don't hit the max in 3v3, so you don't notice exactly how game-breaking that is. So that's one of the takeaways I had, is that in 5v5, that 200% defense mattered so much more because they actually stacked it fast enough to matter.
All right. Fair enough.
And I didn't take that quite seriously enough. So there you go. I have others, but they're less relevant.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I mean, if it's advice that's going to expire by the time we come back to 5s, I guess we can save it, yeah. TJ, got something you wanted to throw in on this? Something you're taking away that's applicable for our next 5s? I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it in the preseason video. You don't have to get too into detail, but something that, you know, just jumped out at you. It's like, huh, all right, I noticed that this week that I didn't notice before.
It's going to be the same stuff, and I think it's all going to hinge on going into 3s. But I guess for 5s, Jedi aren't dead, but if you haven't built the proper things, you're not looking like you had the luxury of Cal, right? The JKC, which made thing was easy auto, is not in place now. So places where it was like, oh, yeah, I could just auto this with JKC. Yes, you can get the stuff done, but this isn't a 3-turn JKC now. You actually have to play the fight. So it's just taking the idea that we were kind of spoiled on these datacrons. So like Dagger alluded to with being able to move Cat around, things are done, right? We're now into schedule no revive seasons of the JMKs, and we're into other pieces, and it's just making sure we take that relevance that what we see for data from this season is not going to be what will be 100% for what's going to be next season.
Sure. Yep. Very fair. Anything else you wanted to
add? We'll have new toys is the only thing I could think of right now. I'm excited to see what we're going to do with Bo. Bo and what these... Gideon. Right. Well, I agree. Gideon's going to be a monster, dude.
Yes.
It's waiting to see the kit because at the time of the recording, just everywhere. I think it's going to be monstrous, right? Because like just sticking to 5s because I don't want to go up to that point.
Sorry.
We'll have Bo by the next 5s, and we're in a Scoundrel Cron era right now that's going to be there. Well, part of that team is going to be Scoundrel. So how does this play a part with BAM? What is this going to look like for the other ones? So I'm excited to see what those with the Omegas, with all the bits.
I got you,
those
TJ.
are the big
I got you. So you need to know Revive Cron. That way BAM's birds make you big so people can't revive. There's the big brain play right there.
If you come back and tell me you need a Cron for BAM's birds to not revive, I will take you around the farm. We'll go ahead and have a talk, and then I'm going to whip that ass because that's a kit bullshit. Don't bring that fucking shit to my table. Sorry for the F-bomb.
Set child to beat.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
I didn't use the F-bomb this show. It can be
I did.
That's right.
I did because goddamn well, that's in the kit.
You're killing my rating.
Knock it off. All right. So, but I do want to see what
How will I ever monetize now?
Man. I think BAM armor with Bo are going to be the shit. And I expect us to have a lot of fun when this 5s comes out, when you have the full team. Paz Vizsla is going to be a monster. I can't wait to
be
see
looking at the players with good Paz Vizslas, guys, and do some investigation on that because that boy's going to be slapping. I can feel
they
it.
Are going to. I saw what Arnold did, right, with what he was trying to get to work, and it's there. I cannot wait to see the actual characters be in play. Man, it's going to be awesome, and I'm excited to kill some GLs with it.
Dig it. All right. So yeah, I mean that kind of wraps us up here.
Hold on. Sasha, do you have any takeaways?
Oh yeah, geez, I thought
No worries.
Somehow
no
I thought I already heard
you
him talking. And just checked the box in my brain. My bad, Sasha. What did you have as a takeaway?
Yeah, no worries. Well, you guys covered a lot of really good ground there. Although your vulgar language really ran roughshod over my delicate sensitivities, guys.
That's right.
So I don't know.
For shame.
But
God,
Fire shame upon you.
No, a lot of good stuff. Actually, let's see, maybe just a couple. One is I kind of want to pour one out for the Wookiees. I feel like they're gonna. They were a staple in GAC-D with the high defense and then the Wookiee Cron, and maybe there's some use that they'll have going forward with the remaining high defense. But and you know, a lot of them.
Oops, sorry, you cut out.
Sorry, no, yeah, I just feel like that's it's kind of sad to see because I suspect the days of Tarful lead, at least at the top end of competitive GAC, may have run out. But we'll see. And then the other thing that's interesting, and I don't know if there's been messaging from CG on this. I doubt it. But to just sort of read trends, I wonder if the set 11 datacrons, like moving 11 to 12 now, if 11 is going to be the end of super game-breaking stat datacrons. I kind of doubt it, but certainly 12 is so heavily marginalized. Yeah, like it's, and then I wonder if that's just the direction that they are going to go, and we won't see things change as dramatically from season to season, other than based on certain mechanics that are introduced by faction or character. So those are kind of thoughts that I had. I actually really like. I've mentioned pretty much weekly that I think datacrons are really good for the game. So I hope they don't go too far nerfing them. It's kind of cool to change up with certain impactful stats now and then, and that 12 is just kind of the floor where they'll go on stat relevance, but we'll see.
All right. Well, that was a very good contribution.
To kind of follow up on the Tarful thing, I know TJ and I specifically talk a lot about the rotation of the B-ish teams, right? What are you putting on defense because it's seasonal? Zio, I watched him Tarful Starkiller with one of the new Crons.
Nice. Man, I'm telling you guys, that guy is resourceful. Dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying is the mechanics of the team are still going to be useful, probably, but it's probably going to move down to I don't want to say Mon Mothma tier, but it's going to drop below Saw probably. Probably be on par with Radis. You'll find some stuff to do and might punch up a little here or there. But I think the dominance, I say dominance, right? But I think it was you, Sasha, that said we were spoiled by it for the bulk and then the Wookiee Crons, where it was just the best last team you could set. And it would just eat these really bad teams alive. It was such a good team to just set and be I hope you're not going to try and Kira Mission Zalbar this, right?
Yup. All right. Well, let's go to closing thoughts. So, we're going to go ahead and record a separate video for, our expectations coming into this next 3v3. So we'll save that for that time. But is there anything else you wanted to leave the people with before we part ways, guys? Dagger.
Obligatory, your head is stupid.
Your face is stupid.
But that being said, it was fun to watch, and this piggybacks on you as well. You were able to stream, I think, twice this last round. Once on Discord, once on Twitch. It was fun this week. It was fun this week to be able to actually have a little bit of time with the Thanksgiving weekend to watch some GACs over the weekend. Because it's been so long since I've been able to just sit there and veg out and just put up Infinitum or TAS or go rewatch Zio, just put something like that on my TV and just kind of veg out a little bit and just kind of this is gonna sound super cheesy. Enjoy the wonder of the game. This game is so complex. I've been playing it for almost 7 years of my life. Right? we just had the 8-year anniversary of this game. Jesus. So it was just a nice week of reflection, Thanksgiving, and just kind of just enjoying the game for why I started playing it in the first place, I guess.
Yeah, here. Glad to hear that. TJ, final thoughts here.
Biggest one to me, as we're getting out of the Jedi season and into something else. I'm just gonna voice it out again. I'm gonna say it, and I know we talked about kind of weak stats on it, but the Datacrons, your scoundrels are gonna be they're gonna be your knife. They're gonna be your go-to. They're gonna be your utility tool. So just build them out. Get you a couple of the good ones for the new set, but build out these scoundrel Datacrons. You're gonna want a whole bunch of them. They're gonna do a lot of good things. That's talking not just 3s, but 5s and everything else. Scoundrels are a huge faction. So don't sleep on them. There's gonna be a lot of fun with it.
Dig that.
Scoundrels are the new Jedi.
There you go.
Dig that. That is good advice. Yeah. I think. What do you guys think about Jawas here?
Really interesting. I gotta admit, so I had Kabuki first round, and I was kind of teasing him, like going like, "You've got to have like." Sort of assuming that he would, but also scared to hell that he would have Ray Jawas in the back with a finely tuned Jawa Kron. I was convinced he would, because it just seems so interesting to do and so easily underestimated.
Yeah,
but the survivability is high, and that I actually I held my LV squad because I've got to have something that takes reduced damage from percent health effects going against it. I never saw it. But man, it's going to be fun at some point.
Ray Jedi coming back, or Ray Jawa. Ray Jawa going to be the new thing again.
Man.
And you're going to try Darth Vader.
Glory days.
Yep.
That's right. All right. Well, Sasha, your thought. Last thing for the people.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that that Leia has sort of. And Toxic Leia or whatever Leia has just sort of positioned the game. This happens naturally out of the creativity and resourcefulness of the community. But, something gets introduced that's extremely powerful, further bolstered by a Datacron that suits the squad super well. And it just terrorizes for a while. And like we've talked about, Leia battles being overly determinative in matches generally, that she is in part introduction of some of these set 12 Datacrons that otherwise just really good creative thinking by the community, that Leia has kind of like taken at least a step back and is finding a place in the broader food chain. Like she's got some natural predators that are highly reliable. I think that's cool. I'm just happy about that, because the crappy stuff, kind of back to like that.
Some counterplay, some backup options. I agree. Yes, I feel like we definitely have a less rigid meta than the past.
Yeah. And it would screw with really fun matches, like talking to friends or even seeing on some streams where it's like, this is going to be an awesome match. Oh, crap. They just hard failed on Leia at the bottom front wall. This match is over. It's just no fun. So that's no longer the case.
It's true. That's very fair. For my part, it's... we've definitely got more proof at the end of a season here to show that the health modding on Leia has been great. There may be other moddings that have yet to reveal themselves that are better, but for my part, I am going to say that having tested both, I much prefer Health Leia to Speed Leia. As far as anything else new to leave you guys with, hit Conquest hard. It just started today. If you're used to refreshing through the 100s on mods every day, which is not something everyone does, I admit, but if you're already, that could fit inside your daily crystal budget between Squad and Fleet Arena to do your Cantina farms and then do those 6 refreshes in mods. I strongly recommend you move 3 of those refreshes over to Conquest. I always go through 6 refreshes through the 100s on Conquest, and I otherwise spend like very little, like double, like $10-15 for a whole set, something like that. Like I'll maybe $20, something, and I'm including the $10 pass, right? So it's like I don't really spend much money on Datacrons, but I do hit it pretty hard with energy when it's available. So be about that, or you'll regret it here because we've got set 10 dusting. Oh yeah, be sure you dust your set 10. Don't get caught out. Apply those materials to new crons. You have the new conquest. Grind up some new crons here in the first day or two if you can. Get that stuff spent. And yeah. All right, so Oh yeah, go ahead.
One small caveat, if I may.
Please.
Depending on where you live in the world, you have, at least at the moment of recording, you have 1 to 2 days left of double drops. So also factor that into moving wherever your crystals need to go for conquest.
Very fair. Very, very fair. Take advantage of double drops while it's available. All right, well, Dagger, TJ, Sasha, thank you guys, as always, for making time in your very busy schedules to record this with me. It's always fun. We did a great job of being on time. We're actually just under an hour, 55 minutes and some seconds. So kudos to us. We did very well. For all of my patrons, you will have this video first thing in the morning here on Tuesday. And for all of our subscribers here on YouTube, this video will come out on Friday morning. We really appreciate your viewership. Thanks for all the great feedback we've been getting the last few weeks. Big upticks in interest and conversation around it. So I really appreciate you guys getting into the show. Do leave your comments. Hit us up and hit me up in DMs on Discord. All that good stuff. I feel like there was one last thing I needed to say, but it's eluding me now.
You were finally going to ditch the hat?
No, the hat's staying.
Has it been real?
Yeah, no, the hair's not coming back, so the hat's staying. You got to accept that, man. I accepted that some time ago.
Real talk, has it been real?
Yes. As always, guys, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.